Your ABC6 Storm Tracker weather with meteorologist Bill Guile.
Good evening, everyone. Starting things off, taking a look at the very latest, the Tropical Storm Beryl. We've got the 5 p.m. coordinates for you. It's located 26.8 north, 95.5 west longitude, and it is 130 miles to the south-southeast of Matagorda, Texas. So that's just right around the Port O'Connor area, and this thing is hours away from making landfall. Looks like it's going to be happening after the midnight hour tonight. Continues moving off to the north-northwest, 65 miles per hour. It may stay just below hurricane strength, but the National Hurricane Center does still project it to perhaps reach 74 mile per hour winds just before making landfall. So we'll see how this plays out. Of course, it is starting to scrape along the landmass, so that might inhibit it from getting to that status. But nonetheless, it'll be making landfall right about 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning anyway, working its way through eastern Texas and then heading up through Arkansas and then continuing to track off through the Ohio Valley later in the upcoming week. So that by Friday, we'll get the remnants of it, perhaps in the form of some showers and thunderstorms. But the amount of rainfall that is going to be beseech eastern Texas and some of the localized spots could be as much as 10 to 15 inches, especially maybe like right around the Galveston, Texas area, heading up towards Houston. So that's what they're dealing with. Here's what we are going to be dealing with. We've been seeing all the high heat and humidity. Now we're going to be seeing a heat advisory going into effect for Providence County and much of a portion of eastern Massachusetts and a good chunk of all of Connecticut, with the exception of the coastline, going into effect at noontime tomorrow and staying up until about 8 o'clock Tuesday evening. So in other words, heat indices in terms of how hot it's going to feel are going into the mid, maybe even some upper 90s. Air temperatures right now, it is quite steamy out there, upper 80s, away from the water's influence, but the closer you are to any bay or shoreline, it's a little bit better in that regard, 80 degrees in Newport. But the real heat continues along the mid-Atlantic coastline, Philadelphia, 94, Richmond, Virginia, 90 degrees, and with those dew points into the 60s and 70s, they're dealing with the high heat as well. So that's what we are going to be getting into over the next couple of days. So we're basically dividing the tropical air that's in place that you can feel out there from just the humid air, where dew points are in the 60s back through central and western portions of New England. Now, high pressure is going to stick around for a couple of days, and so will this frontal boundary. That's why it's a stationary front, really not moving much. I think for the most part we'll stay dry all the way through Tuesday until maybe Tuesday night we get a shower coming on in. And then we head on into Wednesday, and we'll start to see the remnants of what was Beryl by then, working its way up towards the Great Lakes region and continuing to head up into eastern Canada. So that's what we're going to be dealing with. Again, here's a close-up look for the overnight. It's a warm, muggy night. There'll be some areas of locally dense fog, especially along the south coast. During the day tomorrow, we're heading into the upper 80s and low 90s region-wide, and we're going to repeat it all over again on Tuesday with a lot of warm temperatures in the afternoon. We'll be heading into the 80s, and late in the day, we could be seeing some showers or thunderstorms coming in. So what does that mean in terms of the humidity? Well, we're going to be dealing with dew points that are running into the 70s all week long. But there will be a shower threat on Wednesday, Thursday, and perhaps some storms on Friday as we start to cool ourselves back down closer to normal, but it will stay oppressively humid all